The materials you're going to need are lightweight interfacing, pins, tailor's chalk, a tool to close your snaps. Snaps of your choosing, you're going to need about 24, and 1 or 2 colors of fabric. So if you choose 2 colors, your scarf will look like the one on the top, the purple one. And if you choose 1, it's going to look like the one we're going to make in the video. When making the infinity scarf, you're going to need 2.5 meters at least. If you're wanting to make sure that it fits you, wrap it around your neck and make sure it's the size you want. If you're using 1 color, you can keep it folded. If you're using 2 colors, I would recommend that you cut the fold and then you have enough material to make 2 scarves. The width of your material should be at least 150 centimeters because you want it to be able to fit around your shoulders, so it can also work as a shawl. So to start sewing, you need to make sure your good sides are on the inside. If you're doing 2 colors, your 2 good sides are touching. And you're going to start pinning on the top corner and go all the way around all 4 sides, especially if you're using 2 fabrics. Once you have it pinned, you're going to find a spot somewhere in the middle and you're going to leave a 4-finger space. So take your chalk, draw a line on both sides. Then you're going to go to your sewing machine. You're going to set it up so you're doing a straight stitch. So on the Janome machines, that stitch pattern is A1, stitch width is 0, and stitch length is 3. And you're going to sew all the way around, leaving that 4-finger space open so we can flip it through after. You're going to set it on A1 or straight stitch, stitch width of 0, stitch length of 3, and you're going to be sewing on the 5/8 line. If you have 2 different types of fabric, you're going to start on one of your marks and sew all the way around and stop at your other one. If you have the same color, you're going to start at one, go to the corner, and then stop and go back to your other mark and go the other way. So lining it up on the 5/8 line. Don't forget to backstitch. So if you were going to keep going, you would put your needle in, just like you did before, lift your presser foot, turn, and go down the other side. Because I'm not, I'm going to take my needle out, cut my threads, going back to the other mark that you made, or you can start on the other corner. It depends on how your pins are. Now you're going to go and cut your seam so it is half the distance, and we're going to cut the corners across so that when we are flipping it, you're going to have a nice pointy corner. So cut on a diagonal and cut right down the middle so you're going to get a smaller seam. That'll help with our snaps. The only place you're not going to cut the seam down is in between your lines here. So literally cut down and go this way and cut down and go that way. This way when we are sewing this part, we actually have some material to do our hand sewing in for your invisible stitch. So now that your seams are cut in half, you're going to want to measure the width of your scarf, and then you're going to take your interfacing and you're going to cut it so that it is about 1 inch wide and the same length between your seams on your scarf. So the width of my scarf between my seams is 23 inches. If you're using centimeters, it's going to be about 58.5. I'm going to take my interfacing So you should have 4 strips now, 1 for each side and each end. This is going to help secure our snaps so that they don't fall out later. Once you've gotten that done, you're going to go set up your iron, and depending on your fabric, you're going to turn it to the right setting. So for mine, I'm going to turn it to cotton. For yours, you might need to turn it to synthetic. So I'm going to take my seam that I left uncut, fold one side to the top and one side to the bottom so that it matches the rest of my seam. I'm going to take my pressing cloth, place it on top, test my iron, and then press. And now that it's pressed, I'm going to go to my ends and apply my iron-on interfacing. Now if your interfacing is not iron-on, it's going to be a lot harder because you'll have to sew it on, which means you should have done it before. To know the iron side, it's going to be shiny on one side and not on the other. Again, pressing cloth on top. This protects your iron from getting any glue on it. You're going to hold it for about 5 to 10 seconds in each spot. Move up. So now that you have your interfacing, cut off any extra that's hanging over the edges. And then you're going to find that center hole and you're going to flip it through. Now that you have it all flipped inside out, you're going to iron the outside to flatten your seam. This is going to help seal in that interfacing and make it easier for us to add the snaps because it'll be flatter. You're now ready to measure out your spaces for your clips. So I'm going to do mine every inch mark. So just put a little tick so we know where to place them. Mine is only going to take 23, depending how wide yours is. You might have 24. And then I'm going to make sure that I have a ½ inch from the edge for my snaps. So I'm not going to be right on that seam that I sewed, but I'm still going to be within my mark for still going to be on that interfacing. Now where my two lines come together, I'm going to take one side, so this is the purl side, I'm going to put it on the bottom. Poke it through. Then I take the other side. For this one I'm using the snap part. I'm going to take my tool, going to put it one on the bottom, one on the top, and I'm just going to squish just with my hands. We're going to use the big tool after. And you're going to keep doing this until you get to the other side. Now that you're done that one side, you're going to start doing it on the other side with the other side of the snap. However, you want to make sure when you do this that you fold your scarf right in half, and then you're going to put your snaps on the top again so that they're going to snap together. And do the same thing. Take your ruler, draw your inch mark, and then put a tick on every space. For this one, you're going to take the circle backs. So they're those ones. And the pieces that have the hole in them so that they can snap together. Again, I'm going to take 22, 23 so that I have enough to match. And you might want more than that or less. It depends on your style and how big your scarf is. So sticking the pointed side through the bottom again. Once you're finished, go ahead and connect your snaps, make sure that they all close. There have been known to be some that are faulty and just won't work, so you might have to remove those. And now you have your Vinyasa scarf with snaps. I have seen some instructions where they put 2 in the middle just to add some extra ability to do different things with it. I'm not going to do that on this one, but if you wanted to, you would find the center and about 4 or 5 inches from the middle, you put one of each snap so that they could come together with your 2 end snaps. So make sure that you put them on the right way for that to happen.